Okay, this one I am very excited about. I slayed, bitch. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get this bomb green eyeshadow look. I've been seeing a lot of olive green or just like green eyeshadow looks lately, so I decided to do my own. So if you want to see how to get this look, then just keep watching. Alrighty guys, so to start off this look today, we're going to prime our lids with the Fenty concealer, and I'm going to be using the shade 290, and I'm just outlining my eyebrow right here and just spreading out that product. And to further spread out that product, I'm going to be using my Morphe M335 brush and just patting it and smoothing it out. Alrighty, now we're just going to add some tape there to our eye, and then I'm going to go ahead and start packing on the first color, which is going to be called Daddy, and it's from the James Charles palette, and I'm just using this flat brush, and I'm really just focusing on packing on that color. I'm not really doing too much blending yet. I am going a little bit back and forth just so my eyeshadow doesn't get patchy, but still really focusing on packing it. And for my inner corner, I'm using a different brush. It's the Morphe M431, and again, still packing that color and very slightly blending, so again, it doesn't get patchy. Make sure you're packing on a good amount of that color so it makes it easier later on when you're going back in with colors, so you don't have to apply as much and it won't get messy. But now I'm going to go in with this double-ended brush from Urban Decay, and I'm going to pick up the shade Social Blade from that same James Charles palette, and I'm just going to go right on top of that and really lay down that color and just focus on that blend right there. Me doing circular motions, but make sure you're not going too far into that deeper green so you don't mess up that pigment. So really focus on that borderline right there between those two colors. I'm also not packing on that lighter green just how I packed on that darker green, because I want it to be more of a gradient effect. So I'm just going in with very little blending and then adding some more of that lighter green. And now I'm just grabbing that other brush that I first used, and I'm going to bring that green a little bit more up to create a gradient effect. And then now I'm grabbing that KYLIE Cosmetics brush, and I'm picking up that same shade Social Blade and just blending out to the top of my brow bone and blending out a little bit where that darker green is, but I don't want to mess up that blend there. I'd rather go in with a smaller brush for that. So if I am doing it like I am now, I'm going to go in very lightly with a very light hand, and just switching between brushes until I feel like that blend is sharp. Now I'm going to go in with my Sigma E47 brush, and I'm going to still pick up the shade Social Blade, and I'm going to work on the inner corner. So when I work on the inner corners, I use smaller brushes so it doesn't get messy or the color doesn't come up too much, because it'll make my eyes look really weird. So I'm just going in with that smaller brush, and I was blending that out, and then I go back in with the KYLIE brush and kind of just blend out a little more. But for that more detailed part, like more when I'm focusing on the borderline, I do use that Sigma E47. So here I'm still using that Sigma E47 brush, but I'm going to pick up the shade again, Daddy, and I'm going to create more dimension into my crease and add some more pigment there. And then later on you'll see that I'll go back in with Social Blade and just blend that out a little more. But really take your time on this blending, add some more pigment wherever you need to. I'm literally just switching back between brushes, back and forth, adding color, blending out, and adding some more color. And here I'm taking a scoliosis break because your girl's back hurts. So back to blending, and like I said, take your time with it, don't rush it. The more you take your time with it, the better your blend will be and the more gradient your colors will come out. Once I feel like that's all set, I'm going to grab my Morphe M431 brush and pick up the shade Enchanted from the Jaclyn Hill palette and just focus that right on the outer corner. Not going too high up just yet. I'm going to pack on that darker shade right there, and once I feel like I've lost some of the pigment, then I'll start blending upwards. And I'm taking this fluffy brush just to blend it out a little better, but going back in with the Morphe M431 and blending that out. Because I've cut down this video so much, you don't really see me adding a little bit and then blending, but I was just adding a bit and then blending, packing on a little more and then blending, and just really taking my time with that darker color, because once you add that, it'll be harder to blend out if you're adding too much. So now you can see me taking it a little further into the crease, and I'm still not bringing it high up. I'm really just focusing it under that hood and in that crease there. So I'm just blending it towards the middle very slowly, and then I'm going to go ahead and take it to the inner corners, but I'm not packing it all the way into the inner corner. I'm going to start right where that daddy shade ended, and I'm going to bring it towards the middle of my eye to create a gradient effect there. And I'm grabbing my Sigma E47 brush and blending together the two sides there of Enchanted and bringing it to the middle very slightly. So a tip that I wanted to add in here is when you're blending, work with the light hand, but because I am blending in more into my crease, I am going to use a little bit more pressure, but still not super harsh. And then when I use the lighter greens, when I add more color on top of that darker color, I'm going to use a very light hand because I don't want it to be so bold and as bold as that dark color. So I'm going to use a very light hand when I'm adding color like you see here. And when I add Social Blade later on, I am using a very light hand. Shout out to scoliosis 2 times, and back to the blending. So you see that I'm using a light hand. I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but I am using a light hand blending that Social Blade there and adding more color. And I'm going to start creating that spotlight to our halo eye, and I'm going to use the NARS Soft Matte Concealer in Chantilly and just pat that out. And for my glitter shade that I'm going to be applying, I'm going to use from the Jaclyn Hill palette. It's called Guac. I'm sorry, not Jaclyn Hill palette, from the James Charles palette. I'm going to be picking up the shade Guac and applying that to the middle there with my finger first. Then spraying that Morphe M167 brush, picking up that same shade and adding it there to make it more intense. Now I'm going to grab that Sigma E47 brush again and then just blend out those harsh lines there between Enchanted and Guac, and then take it to the inner corner and then blend out the outer corner as well. For eyeliner today, I'm just going to be creating a very thin line there, and I'm going to be using the Kat Von D tattoo liner. I'm just creating a small line just to hide the lashes when I apply them and to create a thicker lash line there. But if you guys want to add a wing, you want to fly, go for it. I wanted to stay planted today, so I'm just making a very thin line. And for mascara, I'm going to be using the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. Make any adjustments if you need to, add some more color, blend a little more, but once you feel like you've got it down, go ahead and remove your tape and add your lashes. I'm going to be using the Obsessed Beauty Lashes in Obsessed. I can't get over these lashes. I'm probably going to be using them for my next few videos, so sorry about it. Not really sorry, but this is the final look for the eyes, and I am so in love with it and so happy how it came out. So now we're going to move on to the face. For primer, I'm going to be using the New Milk Hydrogrip primer, and I do feel that gripping effect, but it is still hydrating and it doesn't feel super sticky, so I'm really happy about that. And for foundation today, I'm going to be using the Fenty foundation in 290, and I'm going to be blending that out with my Morphe highlight and contour sponge. For concealer today, I'm going to be using the Fenty concealer in 290 and just adding that where I usually highlight. To warm up my face, I'm going to use the Hourglass Vanish Liquid Foundation in Almond, and I apply that there with my finger. This is my go-to thing now. Like, I used to use powder bronzers, but I feel like I always looked really muddy, but this has been working for me, and honestly, like, I'm not going to go back anytime soon unless if I find a good bronzer that I can use. But I'm using this flat top brush from Wet n Wild, and if you guys haven't tried this out, go get yourself a sample of it at Sephora or anything and try it out and let me know how it works for you. But I'm really liking this method, and I've also been liking the ABH contour stick in Mink. But if I want something a little warmer and to look more like bronze, like summery, I'll use this shade. To set my under eyes, I'm going to take my ABH contour palette in light to medium and just use that middle banana shade in the first row and set that. Going to pat it into my under eyes, and to set my whole face, I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Lock It setting powder with this big fluffy brush, just patting it into my skin. To set my bronzer there, I'm going to be using the Girls Getaway Trio from the Balm, and I'm going to pick up the shade Take a Dip and just set it there like where I normally would put my blush and just warm up my face. Now I'm going to contour my nose, and I'm going to be using the Hoola bronzer, and then for highlight I'm going to use the Fenty highlight in Hustler Baby with this little blending brush and apply it to the high parts of my cheekbones. I'm going to apply it to my brow bone, I'm going to run it down my nose, and then apply it to the tip of my nose. And then I'm also going to smoke out my under eye, and I'm going to grab the shade Daddy and apply it there closer to my lash line. And then next to that, I'm going to apply Social Blade further from my lash line, and I'm going to create a gradient effect there. And she is all done. Isn't she beautiful? I love how this came out. Thank you guys for sitting with me through this and listening if you did. Okay. So if you want to see, I can't talk. Cool, now I'm going to do my outro. Alrighty, so here's the final look, and as you can tell, I'm really excited about this because it actually came out really good. And I've always had trouble with blending greens, but I nailed it actually this time, and I'm really happy with the result. So if you guys like this look, then go ahead and like this video or leave me a comment with what you think. And if you recreate this look, then please tag me, and I really want to see if you guys recreate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel on your way out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. What? Looks like I'm wearing money signs on my eyes.
Oh my god.
And see.